With over 625,000 followers on TikTok, over 23,000 followers on Instagram, 14,500 subscribers on YouTube. He has a Twitch channel as well. Also runs his own podcast. We have Malik here. What's up, man?
What's going on?
And we are back with another episode of the Aidan Achong Experience. And we're here to interview Malik, get to know a little bit more about him. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who do, he's a pretty damn cool dude. So you'll get to have a good episode today. So first thing I wanted to ask you is, what got you into the wrestling space, man?
I mean, I've been a fan for years, so it's kind of easy to kind of get into the space. Been a fan since I was a kid. It's like everybody else, majority of people, So I started off pretty young.
Yeah, me too. I started you're only a couple years older than me, so I definitely think the age definitely is close. What was the first show that you could remember that was no, that's it. That's what I fell in love.
I don't know. First show. Remember the first show that I saw, but the first DVD that I had was the 2005 Royal Rumble. Just the concept of the Royal Rumble match is what really excited me and gravitated me. Mm-hmm. So I would say that Royal Rumble for sure. It's probably when my grandma bought me the DVD for my birthday that year. So when I had watched it, something about, I don't know, man, it's something just about that match in general.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. So, because my first show that I can genuinely remember was Extreme Rules 2011, and I think that's definitely not the strongest show or anything, but we have Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler. I'm not gonna say it was anything crazy, but I saw Cena win the main event, the title, and that's what started my fandom. And I think what's so cool about wrestling is everybody has their favorites. Everybody can fall in love with so many different matches. You could fall in love with a great match. You could fall in love with a bad match. There's definitely people in this world who fell in love over WWE because of The Rock and John Cena at WrestleMania 29.
Yeah.
There's plenty of matches. So, you've been in the space for quite a few years now. You've built yourself a pretty damn good following around here. Now, what do you think is something that helped you first blow up and really made you feel like, damn, I can actually make it somewhere in this space?
It was just kind of during the pandemic, and everybody obviously was at home chilling, not really shit to do. So I just started posting randomly on TikTok about just random things, and then one of the WWE videos I posted kind of started to blow up, and then I started to post more of that, and it continued to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I just kept doing it. I wish I would expand it more outside of TikTok few years ago onto Instagram and other platforms, but I wasn't thinking that ahead at that time, so that's a detriment to me. But I was kind of just kind of became a thing unintentionally. Really, it just kind of happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of creators who sometimes tend to start this for fun, think it might be nothing, and then boom, out of nowhere it's your whole damn thing, and that's what you're doing every single day.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know you have your own podcast. What was the whole thought process behind that, and how did you find yourself being able to make that?
Nah, I've been doing podcasting for years, so I've been doing that probably since 2016. So just wasn't at the level that it is now, but podcasting is always something I really enjoyed, and talking about wrestling with others.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We started this podcast, a couple months ago. I think maybe 6 months ago, maybe. And something's fun. I like to talk with other creators. Get things vibing, get things rolling, build connections. Because you know what, every creator has something they can talk about with someone else. There's always a piece of advice that you can give to other people. And it is a little early on here, but what's one piece of advice you would give to another aspiring creator in the space? Whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, that's trying to grow and you're trying to build a community.
I would say just have fun doing it, man. It can be stressful at times, especially when you may not be getting the engagement that you want, the views and likes and all that stuff, when you're watching other creators who are bigger than you succeed, and that jealousy can creep up in there a little bit. But So just have fun doing it. It's really all about the enjoyment. Social media can be very toxic, so you're going to see a good and bad side of the wrestling community or just social media in general. But I would say just kind of block off that noise as much as you can and just have fun doing it and enjoy the process, because it could take you to good places. You can meet some very cool individuals, make some new friends. A lot of people that I talk to in my inner circle are mainly on social media. I talk to people on social media that I've been friends with on social media more than I even see my actual friends in real life that I've known since elementary school. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where, just have fun doing it and just kind of keep faith in the process. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't happen overnight for everybody. It could be, you could have to take years to grow. You know what I mean? It took me, I've been making content since 2016. I really didn't start to blow up until 2020. So, and if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't know if that would have really kind of happened, to be quite honest. So you just never really know where content can take you. But I would say if you're not having fun doing it, then there's really no point in doing it. It can really mess with your mental health, especially how bad social media can be in the comments and how people want to drag you down for your opinions because they don't like your opinions. And if you don't agree with their opinions, they don't like that you don't like their opinions, or, don't agree with their take necessarily. It's a big cluster mess, but I would say having fun is the main key. I just really enjoy doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and not even if you really want to do it full time. I mean, you have certain goals you want to get to, but even if it's not necessarily something you really like want to push for full time, like, you just want to have fun doing it, then just post about what you want. Don't let others try to critique what you want to make your content to be. It's your content. So you can make your content about whatever you want to be. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a copy and paste of somebody else. You can make reactions, you can make prediction videos, you can do ranking videos, you can make funny skits, whatever you feel like is your criteria. It's your content. So don't let others try to critique you and push you down either for that reason, because your content isn't what they like. Like, bro, you don't got to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can scroll easily, or you don't have to watch it. And if you're continually commenting in my videos about it, then obviously you like my content because you continue to come back and watch it. You know what I mean? So I would say just have fun doing it.
That's pretty wise words of advice. I mean, I think, whenever I talk to people, it's like, do something you would enjoy, do something you would watch, because there's a lot of people who make content, and if you were to ask them to watch it back, they wouldn't be interested. They wouldn't really want to care. So a lot of things that you have to piece together is like, what's something that you would like, something that you would enjoy, something that other people would enjoy, and something that will be successful, because you have to realize, like, there's a time and place to make videos you want to just do for fun, and there's also, depending on what you want to do with a space like this, a time and place to make videos that will work in the long run. Like, recently I made a video where it was like ranking people's favorite WrestleMania matches. And that video is actually done pretty solid on my channel. It's continuously doing solid. And I feel like that's a video that could last for a long time and always get views, because it's something that's, easy, quick. The thumbnail was literally favorite WrestleMania match, and people see it, click it, and it's that easy. And, I think with a lot of people, sometimes they think, you have to make the quality super special, super amazing straight off the bat. And you just want it to be good, because as long as it looks decent and it sounds decent, you can go anywhere. It's your ideas that'll take you to the next level. And, one thing you touched on was, the hate and, some things that people say on the internet, may disagree with your takes. How are you able to, like, avoid that as best you can, keeping your mental health in the positive and a good note?
I just don't care about it. To be honest, it doesn't bother me. I'm not one of those people that is going to let other people's comments affect my content or just affect me in general. Like, you don't know me, bro. I don't know you, and you would never say this to me anyway in person. So it's, some people don't handle it that way. For some people it does bother them, because it's hard for some people to fathom, good people, that people can be this negative or bad in the world. It's like, bro, why you got to be like that? But for me, it just comes with social media, and I just, I realize you can't really do nothing about it. You can't change it. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be good and it's going to be bad, and you can't prevent what others are going to say. So for me, it's like, I'm going to post what I want, and I'm just going to engage with the people that I engage with. I mean, of course, you're going to see the bad comments if you're looking through the comments to reply to for certain things. I mean, that's natural. But to be quite honest, though, I just don't really care. It doesn't really affect me.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer. The more I grow, I'm not gonna lie. There's some people who try to be calling out my appearance, and I don't care enough. Like, it's funny to me. I mean, my whole life, people usually like throw jokes at me. Recently, I've been getting the Bronson Reed like heavy, and like, some people try to be funny. Some people
I get that too. Some people have been saying I look like him.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If you had long hair, I would have thought so. I'm gonna be honest. I was watching some of your videos before, and all the thumbnails, you're looking down. I couldn't see your hair. I'm like, yo, a distant cousin, maybe. You never know. You might have to get that ancestry.
You need some of them royalties, Bronson, man, if we're related, man.
Might have to hit a baby tsunami for him.
Yeah, maybe, man. Maybe Bronson Reed is something I've been getting too, but it's, I mean, I don't look at it negative, though. It's just like, oh, that's kind of funny. Maybe I do.
I think a lot of them are really funny games. I know some people, they might get their looks insulted. And, you just have to be like, listen, the internet, as real as it is, it's also not, the most real place in the world. There's a lot of people who are just going to say something behind the screen who would never say or mean anything in front of your face. And if you can't say it to my face, I have to hold it with a grain of salt. Now, I feel like eventually when I get certain comments, I might delete some things, just because I don't care or, have the desire to see things like that, nor let anyone else see that. But I don't really think, retaining and listening to too much of the hate is important. Now, you might have to address some things sometimes if people want to make rumors about you. If they get to a certain level, I mean, even if they know who you are, sometimes they're going to believe it because that's just what people like to do. They see something, they want to believe it, think it's real, and they run wild with it. But there's only so much you can do. I think, it's really important to keep your sanity and you're not go crazy about it. So we just touched about Bronson Reed, the lookalike, and I think it's a good segue to who are some of your favorite wrestlers? It could be any company, anywhere, anytime.
We're talking all time?
We can do all time. We can do current. We can do both. Whatever you would like to do.
So if we're talking all time, number one, I'll do a men's and women's because I kind of separate the two. So if we're talking all time for women, it would be Bayley. She's my number one. If we're talking men, then it would be John Cena. He's my number one. Currently, excluding Cena because he's kind of on his way out, even though he's there around. I would say for me, it would still be Roman Reigns for me. Ever since I never really disliked Roman, even when he was doing the big dog stuff. I wouldn't say he was like my clear cut favorite at that time, but I never hated him. He was okay to me. He was cool. But ever since the pandemic, genuinely, I don't think there's ever been something Roman has done that I wasn't interested in or wanted to see or gravitated towards or was excited for that match. I didn't care who he was facing. Even when he fought Logan Paul, I'm like, all right, I'll watch it. I'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, he has elevated himself so much from a character aspect to where it's like this might be one of the greatest reinventions and peaks I've ever seen from a guy who was pushed as a main eventer and had all the tools to get there, but was kind of cuffed a little bit where he was put on a leash to where this is the box they put him in and they were trying to make him to be something that he wasn't. Once he was taken out of that box and the cuffs came off, he was able to show so many layers of what he could really do and how great he could really be, of the potential at the level and height that he was able to reach and could always get to. The storylines he's been involved of, I mean, it wasn't always good, but the peak of it though, like the people he's helped elevated in the Bloodline storyline, the matches and the moments, like Roman Reigns ever since 2020 to me has been the most interesting superstar in professional wrestling by far to me when it comes to all aspects. Now, if we're talking stuff outside of WWE, I'm a massive Kenny Omega fan. I've been watching Kenny Omega since New Japan. The stuff with him and Okada and Tanahashi and Naito, and the match he had with Chris Jericho over there, really, really good. Even the stuff he's done on AEW. So Kenny Omega is definitely up there for me. Tetsuya Naito, a New Japan guy who's now leaving New Japan. He's been one of my favorites for a long time as well. Somebody that I've really been keeping up with and gravitated towards too a lot over the last few years. And then for women, Chris Statlander is up there for me. I'm a big Chris Statlander fan. I really, really do like her. She's somebody who I feel like has a lot of potential to be something really big. I mean, that's just me personally from what I see in her.
I agree, man.
No, yeah, she's great. And man, if I had to pick one more, I really do like Masa Slamovich as well. I really like her in TNA. She's the TNA Women's Champion currently right now. I really like Masa Slamovich too. So she's somebody that I watch and keep an eye on and pay attention to like the matches she's having and stuff that she's doing. So, but I would probably say those outside of WWE, but in the WWE, Roman, Cody, for sure. Braun Breaker. I've been a Braun Breaker guy since NXT 2.0. Always been a fan of his. Saw the potential in him from day one. Omos is somebody that I've always spoke about that I really like. That I feel like could be a lot better if he was positioned the right way in WWE and they would utilize him to his potential. I feel like he's never really been properly correctly or utilized the way he should as a giant. As a big man, he's not going to really do much in the ring as far as maybe what people are kind of anticipating for him to do, but it's like he's 7'3". He's the biggest guy on the roster. He could really be a big attraction. I feel like they just have to use him the right way. And when they had him with the MVP, they barely even used him, on television. So, and then when they did, he was losing big matches that he could have won to help kind of elevate him. So Omos is somebody that I've always spoke about that I really like. Obafemi, massive fan of his. I think he's a future WrestleMania main event guy. He's somebody that I'm looking at like, yeah, him and Braun Breaker, I could see those two like being the next two big stars for the future. Javon Evans is somebody that I really, really like right now too.
Yep.
I like Javon Evans a lot. I feel like Javon Evans in WWE is what WWE wanted Ricochet to be. Just Javon got more personality in WWE. So
I never thought about it like that, but I could see it.
Ricochet can do. Ricochet is great in AEW, and he's one of the people that I said would thrive more in AEW because of his style and what he's presented as. And I think he would do a lot better in AEW. And he's been doing good stuff with his character. I think he's pretty much improving on that aspect. But when it comes to in-ring, he can do things that are just breathtaking. Like, bro, like there aren't many people that can do the things he can do when it comes to in-ring. And I feel like Javon is the same way. He can do crazy athletic stuff in the ring, but he's got personality. So now his promos, I think, kind of need to improve a little bit, but he has the personality, you know what I mean, to back that up. Yeah. So I really do like him a lot. He's somebody that I'm looking toward. Of course, Randy Orton's one of my all-time favorites. CM Punk is one of my all-time favorites as well. And then for the women, I already spoke about Bayley. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Kairi Sane fan as well. I really do like Kairi Sane, even though she's injured right now. They don't really do much with her. Stephanie Van Cure, I really, really like her a lot. Jada Parker, I really, really like a lot. So Ruka, I really, really like a lot. Those are people that I pay attention to a lot. Naomi, big fan of hers. I really like her a lot. I really hope that, you know, she'll win Money in the Bank, and they give her a nice run as the world champion.
It'll be
again.
Her, might be Chelsea Green. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Rhea Ripley, big fan of hers. I really like Rhea Ripley a lot. I've been a fan of Rhea since the Mae Young Classic. Actually, I've been watching her since 2017, but 2018 is when I really started to like her. She was somebody that was different and unique that stood out to me. So I've been watching her since NXT UK and all the way until now. So Rhea is somebody that stands out to me that I really, really like. So, I mean, those are just a couple of names that I threw out there. I wanted to give you more than one answer.
You got some,
now, if we're talking all time, my five has always been locked. It's changed over the years for one particular guy, but Cena's always been one. Roman is two for me now. Undertaker would be.
When my hard drive was bursting out, making noises. So, all right, there's many different things, you know, wrestling fans love. You know, you love the story, you love the matches, you love the behind the scenes, you love, you know, just, you know, the individual relationships you have with the character. What is your favorite thing about pro wrestling?
Storylines, for sure. Storytelling. I'm big into storytelling. So storytelling is the main thing that gravitates me towards wrestling. If you can tell a really good story and have characters that I'm really intrigued by, then you're gonna really have me hooked. Some people like the match quality in the match. Obviously, it plays into the story, but I'm really big into storylines.
That's great. That's a great one. Now, speaking of storylines, what's your top 2 to 3 favorite stories in the past 10, 15 years? If you want to say all the time, you can do that too.
10, 15 years, that's tough. So what, we're in 2025, so 15 years.
PG era, no.
15 years, that would take us, back to 2010? Right, so it's all the way from 2010 to now, so definitely streak versus career. I mean, I would say the 4-year story between Taker, Shawn, and Triple H for WrestleMania, year by year. I mean, that shit was just, oh my gosh, it was just, the story got better and better every year, and then the match is, oh man, just pure greatness.
A lot of people say End of the Era is one of, if not the best matches of all time. I can't necessarily argue with them. I might not agree. I think it's one of that stack up, but it's damn good.
That's probably one of the top 5 greatest matches I've ever seen. And I watched that live too, in real time.
Me too. I remember I was in Queens, my uncle's house, like actually that wasn't that soon before they moved, but we had to go around the corner. We went out up there, had my green John Cena shirt, the wristbands and everything. Well, John Cena the win, and went home sad and depressed. 8 years.
I would say that story, the Bloodline storyline for sure, is up there. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa from NXT is up there. Out of the last, in WWE, out of the last 15 years, those 3 would probably be the ones that I would rank the highest. Talking definitely just the last 15 years in general. So I would probably say those. Now, if we're talking other storylines, Aces and H storyline from TNA, I definitely would put in there for sure. That's one that really was like, ooh, that was some good shit right there for me. I really was into that storyline. The Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega storyline from AEW is up there. Swerve and Hangman is up there. I really do like that one as well. WrestleMania, the Daniel Bryan storyline is very up there. That was peak. That was up there for me too. So I would probably say. Oh, and the one that really got me back into watching during the pandemic, the Randy Orton, Fiend, and Alexa Bliss storyline. I was really hooked on that. That shit had me like just synced in, man. I was really into. Now, obviously, the match did not. The match did not deliver.
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. What could have been?
Yeah, no, that storyline was, man, that was peak for me.
I know it's a very underrated thing about that, but the Randy Orton gear being wasted on like a 2-minute match, that pisses me off a little bit. Because, like, when the hell has he ever brought the white trunks, bro? The white, like, come on. Like, vintage Randy. And, you like, 3 minutes? That's almost as bad as Taker Cena 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, we've talked about it. That was bad. There's no reason. Those two, one big match was 5 minutes.
It's crazy. Crazy.
So you know, we were talking about, you know, the end of an era. Now, what are some of your favorite matches that you watched live in the moment that you could be like, wow, I remember exactly where it was, how I felt, and it was like, boom, that was it right there.
Well, end of an era. Rock and Cena, the first one.
Yep.
Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. Saw that live in real time. Batista, Undertaker at WrestleMania. Saw that live in real time. Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. Saw that live in real time. And the other ones, of course, WrestleMania over the last, Roman and Cody, both the Roman and Cody matches, I would say. I was there live when WrestleMania 38, when Cody Rhodes returned to face Seth Rollins. That was crazy. Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. I was there live for that too. That was wild. Like, atmosphere was just insane to be a part of. To be a part of a Stone Cold match, crowd reaction. That was crazy. I'm trying to give some different answers.
Listen,
TNA Lockdown 2011. Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Angle was there live for that one.
I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, that one was definitely crazy to see in real time. So I would put that one up there as well. Yeah, I'll just throw those ones out there.
Those are great matches. You know, I know most people don't talk about Money in the Bank 2011. Punk and Cena was. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. There was like 8 years I refused to watch that match back because I was too much of a Cena fan, and I was like, damn, I can't go back and watch it. But then after a long time, you know, as I grew up, I was like, all right, what the fuck am I avoiding? Yeah, no, we all know how great it was. We all know how like raw I felt. You know, Punk left. It was like, what the hell?
Crazy, man.
AJ, that match. I
actually prefer the match on Raw though. 2013.
Oh, clearly. We've even talked about this. That Raw, that is the greatest Raw match in history. Listen, fight a wall with me. Anyone in the comments? I think so. The atmosphere, the fact that, you know, there was a but it, you know,
it'd probably be number 2 for me.
I know which one you're gonna say. Cena's H3K, right?
Yeah, that one was. I saw that real time too.
I think that's fair. I think the one with Cena and Punk, what I liked about it so much is the crowd. Like, you wouldn't think, like, obviously the stakes are so high, but you would think it was obvious that Cena would win, but they still made me believe that Punk could actually win. Some shenanigans could happen. Like, he pulled out the freaking pile driver, bruh.
Yeah. Wow. Hurricane Rana fan.
Dude, Cena Hurricane Rana in 2013. You know, you were starting to see glimpses of 2015 Cena, and he was bringing stuff out. I'm like, yo, hi, buddy. Listen.
Good point.
Okay, now speaking of John Cena, I think you can agree with me on this. All these dudes on the internet who want to say, John Cena can't wrestle. He doesn't have it. How, for lack of better terms, how full of shit are they? Because I think we both know how good of a wrestler John Cena is.
Extremely. John Cena, as a top guy, might have more classics than anybody if you really think about it. If you look at it from the year 2005 all the way until 2017, John Cena, legitimately, you could say might have a match of the year contender every year. From 2005 to 2017, every guy that he's worked with, he's pretty much had a good match or a great match with some even classics. You look at
The Great Khali, bro.
You look at JBL, Batista, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Randy Orton, Edge, Bobby Lashley. You mentioned the Great Khali, Umaga, like. Every person you could think of that he's fought, he's either, to me, had at least a very good match or he's had an all-time classic. Like from 2005 to 2017, you could legit say maybe Cena has the best match in WWE. Now, you don't have to say all of wrestling, but in WWE, year by year. I mean, 05, he had the I Quit match against JBL, legendary. 06, he had the TLC match against Edge, legendary. Yeah. 07, the match on Raw against Shawn Michaels. Some people consider that the greatest Raw match ever. Yeah. And these are other matches there's other matches they've had throughout those years. I'm just naming one particular match. 08 had the match against Batista at SummerSlam. That was very good. First time they ever had a match against each other. 09, the I Quit match against Randy Orton. Some people consider that maybe the greatest I Quit match WWE's had, depending on who you ask. 2010 had 3 good matches with Batista from WrestleMania Extreme Rules and the I Quit match. 3 pay-per-views in a row. 2011, Money in the Bank against CM Punk, which is still iconic to this day. 2012,
I heard about that. I was watching see that today, and they're kind of right.
2012 against The Rock, at WrestleMania, one of the best WrestleMania main events of all time. 2013, Daniel Bryan, SummerSlam. 2014, you could look at the Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam, which was a squash match, but that was like something that was unexpected and was like, holy crap, like that meant something. That was a big moment right there. 2015, the whole Cena US Open Challenge alone, like how many bangers they have. Yeah, the triple threat with Brock and Seth, but the US Open Challenge, stuff he did with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and Cesaro and even Cody when he was Stardust, Sami Zayn, like 2016 against AJ Styles, 2017 against AJ Styles, like, bro, John Cena has great matches with many different superstars with many different styles.
I know you mentioned this with 2018. I know it wasn't technically a full match, but the gauntlet with Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, the gauntlet match was great too. Yeah,
bro,
his performance even in the Royal Rumble that year.
They were on Raw for like 25-30 minutes. Cena was wrestling kind of like a heel. It was so gas, bro. So
not to mention too the 2018 Rumble that he was a part of that year. Like,
he was an integral part of that.
Like, I'm just saying, man.
This year,
the last couple of years, obviously, he's older now, so he doesn't have that many great matches. His matches with Roman were fine.
I think his match pretty good. To be honest with you,
I think his match with Cody was fine at WrestleMania, but other than those, there's been some bad ones in there, some stinkers a little bit, but at Cena's peak, saying, man, his peak. Mm-hmm. Got great matches with a lot of people, bro.
Mm-hmm. I think you even saw a glimpse of him and Punk at Elimination Chamber. These dudes probably haven't wrestled an actual match in 12 years, and these dudes like that. The chemistry and magic was right back, and it's like, bro, how? Like, you can't, like, I will say those are each other's best rivals. You can't make that chemistry. It's just there. And these two dudes, like, I felt like I was 8 again watching Cena and Punk Money in the Bank. I'm like, we're back. And listen, we better Triple H better not fuck it up and give us that match of Money in the Bank. It's that simple, that easy.
I think it's bound to happen. If it doesn't happen at Money in the Bank, it could happen at SummerSlam. Like, it's still gonna happen. I feel like they're already giving us the Randy match. I think they're gonna give us the Punk match too, because they know that's one of Cena's best rivals.
Mm-hmm. All right, before we start to talk a little bit more about you, who do you think is gonna beat Cena for this championship? That's the big talk of wrestling now.
It's gonna be Cody. It's gonna be
Cody
for sure. Yeah, he's gonna get it back. They're not gonna have.
I completely disagree. I think you have to put some other talent over. I think giving it to Cody's going a step backwards, and it's like, bro, he's already made the champion. You give it back to him, that's wasted opportunity, wasted potential. There's a couple dudes who can.
No, Cody's their guy right now, so he's gonna have more world championships under the resume. He's the face of the company.
Well, of course, but I don't think he needs to beat Cena for it necessarily. I think you could build a story to get him back up there to the top. Maybe use the Seth Rollins faction now and eventually lead yourself there. Whether it's Seth, whether it's Braun, you're able to build this to get to Cody. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't mean to wear the shirt, but I think this is the man who needs to beat John Cena. I think this is a guy who can use it. This is a guy who John Cena has already advertised, already endorsed. And I think this is a guy right here who you give him a chance, beating John Cena, letting him prove to the world how good he is. Listen, if it didn't work, even if it went bad, it's still going to be a great moment, a solid run. And, you made LA Knight one of those top guys that he can help, elevate some other talents through the rest of his career. But if it goes great, you have the next guy right there who can at least be a top guy for 5 years. Steve Austin only need max 8? You don't need a whole lot to be a top dude and to be a Hall of Fame, first ballot type of guy. And I think LA Knight, you give him a little bit of magic, you let him cook with Cena. Now, I know some people might be like, oh, the matches won't be good. I think by the time LA Knight would be able to take his belt off Cena would already be transitioning back to the babyface stuff, starting to get some of the more wrestling juices flowing, because I feel like, we are going to get some bangers. And I think, as he progresses through this run, he'll definitely want to do some more. And he'll obviously try to, lean back towards the babyface stuff, not completely. And then either someone's going to turn on him, he might just flat out lose. Some way we'll get back to babyface Cena. So we have to see where and when that will happen. But listen, I know you said you think it's Cody. I think it's LA Knight. People think I'm full of shit. People think I'm crazy, but I'll ride it until it happens. If I'm wrong, I'll go on the internet and say I'm wrong.
Yeah, LA Knight could be a good world heavyweight champion. I could see him, winning like Money in the Bank or something like that and doing something to that aspect. But for me, based off the storyline, Cody's the only guy who should beat John Cena. I don't think it should be anybody else.
I think Cody is a good option over Cody.
I feel like you can't have Cody lose the way he did at WrestleMania and then not get the title back by beating John Cena, especially with the whole he wants to ruin wrestling and everything. Cody whole story purpose is to try to be the superhero to try to prevent that. He comes from the wrestling industry. He was born in the business. You can't let somebody like John Cena just ruin wrestling when it's literally been engraved in his DNA since birth. He wants to retire the WWE championship, and they could, like Cena said, create a new championship, but this is the WWE title. This is the most prestige championship in the history of wrestling. Cody's whole purpose to come back to WWE was to win that title because his dad was never able to win the title. And then if he isn't able to get it back and Cena, let's say like Cena retires with it or let somebody else win it and he couldn't do it, that's just not a good look for Cody for me. So Cody for the gimmick and for the story, I feel like this whole purpose is to try to make him a bigger babyface or to try to help propel him up further and further, because there's other stories that they haven't even told with Cody as champion they can get to with him, and the story with Randy, the story with CM Punk. They can revisit the Seth story again. Now they got this faction. So there's other stories that they can tell with the Drew story if they want to go there. Drew would be a great option to beat Cody if Cody would have won it back, I feel like. So Drew was actually the person before Cena turned heel that I wanted to see beat Cody Rhodes before the whole heel turn happened and everything. So for storyline purposes, I just feel like it just has to be Cody Rhodes, especially after how he lost. And, some people didn't like it with the Travis Scott thing and then The Rock not being there and stuff like that. I mean, depending on how people look at it and stuff. I didn't think the match was bad. I didn't even hate how it ended. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like for the purposes of where you can go for the story, like I said, the stories you can tell with Cody as champion and with the people that he hasn't been able to feud with yet, there's still so many layers with him as champion that they weren't even able to tell last year, So, and Cena, with this whole quest, he's going to do other side quests, as well. Like he's going to do the Randy stuff, CM Punk stuff, maybe the AJ Styles feud again if they want to revisit that. They're going to do other stories, in between before Cody wins it back at SummerSlam or the last show of the year for Cena, whatever they want to do it, whenever they decide to put him back in that picture, because we don't know when Cody's coming back to TV as of right now, so we don't know when his return is going to happen. But I just feel like if Cody lost like to Cena as babyface, it'd be different. But like, bro, you got Travis Scott come out and then he cheated to win and all that stuff, and you're not gonna have him beat the guy who did all that. That's just not a good story to me.
That's fair. That's very fair. I think another thing is like, when the title reign is going to come to an end, you have to see what the fan reaction is. Because if they love Cena by the time Cody would hypothetically beat him, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm not saying Cody can't be a babyface, but if you're going to have him beat John Cena with his last reign, and the crowd's already back in love with him, unless you turn...
Yeah, all you have to do is turn Cena babyface after that. Just have him shake Cody's hand and then realize he was in the wrong. Like I mean,
that's fair. That's fair. I definitely think, there's... Cody should definitely win the title back. I don't know if it's that soon, but if it is, can't say I'd be shocked. I can't say I'd be shocked because Cody Rhodes is deserving. It's not like he's not deserving. I just feel like for the 17th title, I feel like there's a load of potential. Shit. Braun Breaker could even be in for the fucking title if they really wanted to go crazy with it. But again, I think there's plenty of options. And that's what's so fun about this, because I don't even think they know who's necessarily going to be him yet. There's obviously, you have people up the table. I think Cody, I think Drew, I think LA Knight is people who are on the table. But you just got to figure out by, let's say, 5-6 months' time, who's the guy? Who is it?
I think they know it's going to be Cody. I would really be shocked if it's not Cody. I'm not going to lie to you. If it's anybody else but him, I would really be surprised.
Fair,
Holy shit. Like,
I'm excited to see what the rest of the range says. So we've talked a lot about wrestling. Now, I think a lot of people, who've clicked on this video want to know a little bit more about you. So what's one thing that, you grew up with, or something that, maybe is not necessarily shown on camera that you think the people would find interesting about yourself? Maybe something you haven't talked about.
And I'm a kind of a boring person, man. I like football, I like basketball. Watch a lot of those sports, or soccer. It's called in America, so some people call it football in other countries. But here, American football, NFL, that's what I'm really big into. Mm-hmm. Basketball, I'm really into.
You see the Lakers blanket over there.
Excuse me, big Lakers fan. I'm not one of those bandwagon fans either. I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. Just so people know, Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. So I didn't jump on the board when LeBron came and everything. Not even really a big LeBron fan, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, he's cool,
that's
you know what I'm saying? But like, he plays for my team, so I'm gonna cheer for him now. But if he were to leave, I ain't gonna be depressed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm not a huge LeBron James guy, but I respect him. He's a legend, arguably the GOAT for many people. But I was a Kobe guy growing up, so the Lakers are definitely my team for sure. But other than that, I don't really have too many hobbies, man. Something that's interesting about me. I do. Really big. I'll say I'm really big into TV shows. Some people are into movies and stuff. Like movies are cool, but I like TV shows. I'm really into sitcoms and live action shows. Fresh Prince is my all-time favorite for sure.
That's fair.
Listen, some people don't like the show. It's controversial, but Friends is one of the greatest shows ever. I don't care what anybody says. I'm huge into Friends. Besides Fresh Prince, Friends would be number 2 for me. Some people don't like it. It's not for everybody, but massive fan of that show. Breaking Bad, one of my favorite shows. Legendary. Sons of Anarchy, The Wire, Sopranos, classic shows like that. I would probably say my top 5 favorite shows. So this is going to be a different list than everybody else. This is Fresh Prince and Friends are definitely 1 and 2.
Yep.
I mentioned those 2, so those will be on there. There's an old school show called Columbo. Not everybody may know it, depending on if you're new in this generation, but it's a very old school show. It started in the 60s, ran through the 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s. But it's basically a guy who's a detective. He's a lieutenant, solves murders, crimes, and everything. Massive into Columbo. Definitely one of my favorite shows for sure. There's a show called 24. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's an actor named Kiefer Sutherland. He plays a character called Jack Bauer.
Maybe.
One of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life. I can't even explain. You just have to watch it to know. Every episode's like a thrill seeker, bro. Every episode is just it's called 24 because it's 24 hours, so they had the clock down for every show. It's I can't even explain it, man. It's just a thrill seeker show. And then I would say Vikings. Really big into Vikings. Vikings is probably one of the top 5 greatest shows to me I've ever seen in my life. That's a really, really great show. I even liked Vikings. I think it's better than Game of Thrones, to be honest. And I was big into Game of Thrones, but Vikings is really, really top tier for me. I already mentioned Breaking Bad. That's one of the best shows I've ever seen for sure. Power is one of my favorite shows. I would say, a lot of shows that I've seen that I really, really like. If I had to pick another one, just to kind of edge it out a little bit, probably maybe Orange is the New Black. I really did like that one. That was one I was really, really into. A variety of different shows, you know what I mean? So it just kind of depends. really kind of to Last of Us. Got to throw that in there for sure. I mean, that's probably my favorite game. Okay, video games I'm big into. I should have mentioned that. I'm big into video games, so that's probably like my other hobby that I have.
What are your top games that you play often?
Last of Us definitely is number one. I'm story driven games too. So Last of Us, Red Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh man, now I gotta be particular here because I only got certain spots. Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2018, Miles Morales, or Spider-Man 2. Either, it doesn't matter. And just the Spider-Man trilogy, I'll say. I'll say that. Probably the Walking Dead Telltale series. Really was big into that. And that fifth spot, maybe like Ghost of Tsushima. Assassin's Creed. I'm really big into Assassin's Creed games. My favorite Assassin's Creed is still Assassin's Creed Unity. I know a lot of people pick Black Flag, but Unity is still my favorite one. Origins is also another good one. Mirage was also great. Can't wait for the new one to come out. Detroit Become Human is one of my favorite games that I've ever played. Batman Telltale series as well. GTA 5, legendary.
Wow.
I'll probably say it's a variety of those. Now, if we're talking WWE, pretty much all the SmackDown vs. Raw games, if I'm being honest. Besides 09. 09 was not great to me, but SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. That's great too. That's up there for me. So if we're talking WWE games, I would probably say some of those.
Uh-huh. That's a good list. That's a good list. I mean, I played every WWE game, I think, since 2005. Not maybe when it came out, but I played every one since. All the GM modes are fire. I'm happy they brought it back in the modern day. Now it's the same as it did. I think there's still more work to get there, but
I like the new one too. I play GM mode a lot, actually.
I love GM mode, bro. It's something that's so nice, so calm. But then I love to try to challenge myself to actually try and win them, book a decent show. In my mind, like not that everybody would see it, not that it matters, but I try and make something coherent, not Ricochet versus Rikishi for 8 weeks straight on NXT.
Yeah. GMO is weird too, though, man, because it's like I don't know, man. I don't like how they have the algorithm of the GMO. I feel like because it's like you can book Kevin Owens versus like Sami Zayn. That'd be a banger match, and they can get like 2 stars. Like, bro, they're not having a 2-star match, and then you could book freaking Ivar from the War Raiders versus Omos, and it'd be like 5 stars.
Yes,
like, bro, what's going on here?
Absolutely no sense.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bothers me about GM mode. It's just that's very strange.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a couple of things that could be.
But there's a strategy to it, though. So I mean,
yeah, there's definitely a couple of things that could be fixed and niched into it. But overall, I mean, video games is fun, man. It's a way to connect, way to have fun, way to bring people together. I mean, when you can't necessarily hang out with your friends all the time, whether they live states away, whether they're busy. Hey, you want to hop on the game? Takes 2 minutes to set it up. Boom, done. There you go.
Nice.
All right, so. Talk about you, your hobbies. Who are some people you've met, through your time on the internet, whether it's necessarily through your content or, maybe meeting some of your idols, maybe, if you have certain ones on the internet, like celebrities or anything, and how were the best experiences you've had?
I mean, I met a lot of cool people through social media. Chris Van Fleet was dope. Ryan Satin, I met him. He was dope. I've been friends with a lot of people through social media, like, Axel Guzman, Renee. Those are some of like my OG friends, I guess you could say, from like their earlier TikTok days. Weezy Blonde has always been cool. I just know there's so many people that I know through social media now, so it's hard to kind of name everybody, but everybody that I've connected with, like Suplex and many other people, they've always been cool. They've always been chill people, really cool people. Who've never had a bad experience with anybody, and I've met a lot of people. I mean, I've been fortunate to meet some other wrestlers too. I linked up with like Zilla Fatu and did some stuff with Mr. Kennedy or Mr. Anderson. And like
fancy.
Man, I met a lot of wrestlers too, through like WrestleCon, like the Hardys and Mickey James and Victoria and Adam Cole and Christian Cage and who else have I met? Trish Stratus, met Lita, Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross,
that list, man.
Rusev. These are all people who weren't in WWE at the time. You know what I mean?
That's
so
fair.
them WWE prices, man, they be taxing for the meet and greets, bro. The meet and greet taxes.
Listen, it is sometimes they have the price. I mean, listen, with Bailey, there's no price that I wouldn't pay.
Yeah, how much was so when you pay for it, you get a photo and an autograph, or just a
at Fanatic says it was just a photo. It was quick, 10, 15 seconds. I actually have the audio on my phone somewhere. Basically, I tell her she's my hero. She asked my name. Pretty much that simple, pretty quick. I mean, it's not a whole meet and greet; it's a photo op, so I understand it. She was like, I think the second longest line of anyone for WWE.
Really?
I think it was maybe her and Drew who had like the tie for the most people. Besides that, like she had 8 groups of people. I think Drew had like 6 or 7. So like, some people will be like, Bailey's not as over, she's not as popular, bro. The fans come out, they love her, they sell her shit out like that. Like, if she gets to Fanatics, I don't care. I'll get a second picture. I don't care. People be like, you can meet someone else. I'm like, if I get to meet my hero again and again and again. So, if there's one thing that I was thinking about when I was thinking of questions, how does your family and friends feel about your internet fame? And you might look at it as a different way. You might just think of it as a bunch of people who follow you or support you. But like, how do they react to you, and how all this different things has affected your life?
I don't know. They don't really look at me any differently. I mean, they've known me forever, so it's not really something that's like, I don't want to say shocking or like impressive, but it's just like, it's cool. They like it, what I'm saying? Like, because they've I've been a wrestling fan for so long. So for them, it's like, damn, man, like, you're actually doing something with it. That's pretty cool. Like you stuck with it. Because a lot of my friends and people that I know who watch wrestling, they kind of fell out of it at a certain age. So those are the ones that are kind of like, damn, man, like, they know it's like my thing,
Yeah, for sure. What's, I think, obviously we asked a lot of good questions. I have maybe like 2-3 more left. What are some of, these future projects and future things and aspirations that you have for your content, things you hope to make true in the next couple of months to years?
Definitely continue to grow more on YouTube. I got to start putting out more YouTube videos as well. I focus a lot more on other platforms, but it's hard to make a lot of content at once when you do TikTok and you do Instagram and then you do YouTube and then Twitch, and it's a lot of content. But I would say to grow a lot more on YouTube and Instagram. Those are two set goals that I have, at least for the end of the year. So going into December of 2025, leading into 2026. So that would probably be the 2 main goals that I have, would just to focus and build more of my platform on those apps that I didn't do a few years ago, because I've been growing on TikTok a lot, but I wasn't smart enough to post other things on my other social medias to grow on there before other people started doing it to advance. So I'm kind of like, backtracking now. Now I'm trying to catch up, with all this stuff. So that's probably like one of the things that I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to do all the stuff myself too, you know what I mean? So, I would say probably that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, I learned took this from Asante's that video. It was like, TikTok and Instagram, obviously, you might put a lot of time and effort into those videos, but these are videos that are, supposed to be a launching point, something that stems out to these other platforms, because you might be able to sit there and watch a bunch of these TikToks that are maybe 60 seconds to a minute, 2 minutes long. But then if you want some substance, that's where YouTube comes in, and he's able to, take all these different good ideas and formulate them repetitively over and over, like almost every day, it seems like. And it's like, bro, how can someone do that as much as he can at such a constant rate and never ever seem to take a break? It's like, I myself as a growing content creator, I want to try to get there, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's tough. It is tough.
It's hard.
I couldn't imagine editing videos every day. I couldn't at all.
I mean, yeah. Well, if you love it that much, and you're making money off of it too, where you can make a living, and this kind of comes a thing, man. You don't really look at it like that. Like, I make videos every day, and it's just like, I make a living off it too, but it's something that I enjoy doing. It's just something that I like. So,
how do you keep your love for it? How do you make sure that you never get burned out or anything? And if you do, how do you avoid that?
Great question. I don't really know, honestly. I just like it. It's just not something I don't overthink it, I guess. It's just not something like, man, I feel burnt out. I mean, there are times when I may not feel like posting as much, so I'm tired, but I may just make a little bullshit video to put out there, like something simple. It doesn't have to be anything I have to edit too much, 'cause I do all my editing too. So it's like, but I mean, honestly, I never really looked at it like that, where it's just like, I just really love it. You know what I mean? So it's not something for me that's like, oh man, I gotta put out this video. Oh, it's just like, yeah, I'm ready to put out this video. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure. Now, to wrap this up, 'cause I think we talked about a lot of good things today. And, for one thing's first, if you guys want to see Malik on the channel more, I'm pretty sure. If you guys want to see it happen, Malik will definitely, come back. He's always welcome back. I think it's been some fun some past couple of nights. We played some Fortnite, actually. We haven't recorded it. But if you do want to see that, that would be very funny. Because me and Malik, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. But, listen, we got sometimes prove to these kids that, we still got it. We still got the control,
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that any new viewer or even a returning viewer thinks of you, whether they see your content, just know you as a person, what do you want them to take away from that and see how they look at you?
I don't really know, man. I feel like if you want to make content, I would say just go for it. Don't hesitate about it. Understand the balance of the positive and negatives from social media, but also enjoy the fun in it as well. Don't overstress yourself about it if you're not getting opportunities or you're not getting the engagement that you want. I mean, I spoke about it earlier, so I don't want to sound repetitive and shit, but I mean, if you let your stress levels get to that, it doesn't become fun, which lacks your effort of content and posting, and that's how you kind of fall off and backtrack, and that prevents you from growing to getting to where you want to go. So it really only takes kind of like that one video to kind of blow up for you to kind of really capitalize on if you're lucky to. So I would say just kind of stick with it, man. For people who are looking to make content or people who are, I guess, inspired by the stuff that I make and, I've got them back into wrestling, I greatly appreciate it. And if there's something that you yourself are looking to get into, I would say, write down ideas. Every idea that I have, I write down in my notes in my phone. So I have ideas that I have written down, from months ago, even years ago, that I have never done. You know what I mean? And those could be videos that one day maybe I don't feel like posting a lot and I can just scroll through my notes and be like, oh, you know what? I made that particular note 2 years ago. Well, maybe I could do it now. You know what I mean? Like 2 years is crazy, but it's like you never know when you're gonna run out of ideas and when you're kind of brain dead as far as like what the heck, trying to figure out what to post. I don't know really what to post. Maybe there's not going a lot in wrestling right now for me to post talking about. Then you could talk about whatever you kind of wrote down in your notes. So I definitely would say if you have ideas, write them down in your notes for sure. Keep them updated and keep in track, and expand on other platforms. Don't just post on Instagram. Don't just post on Facebook. Don't just post on TikTok or Twitter or YouTube. Expand on all platforms. Now streaming is different, so I'm not really a streamer per se. I'm thinking about getting into it more, but I've tried it before. It's not really my cup of tea, but I'm really trying to expand my mindset and expand my content and genre for the people that really enjoy my content. So definitely just expand your content on all platforms you could possibly, potentially grow on for sure.
I have one more question before I let you, tell everybody your platforms, everything like that. It might be a two-parter. I don't really know. I'm trying to think of how I'm asking this. What's your favorite thing, when you're filming your videos, when you're interacting with people, and what is your favorite type of video to make that you feel like you can do? I don't want to say easily, but it's easy to you and it's something that you enjoy the most.
Favorite thing about interacting probably would just to see other people's perspectives and opinions on what they have and why they think, certain things that maybe I didn't see or thought about. Favorite type of videos to make? I mean, maybe like the comedy ones that I do on Instagram about like WWE stuff. So probably that because I like the comedy skits and stuff like that. So probably maybe those.
That's a great one. That's a great one. Well, I think we've had a good chat today. I think you've got a lot of really good in-depth answers. I think if the people want to see more, obviously they know where to find you. Well, they will know now because I'm going to give you the platform right now. Tell everybody any of your platforms. Make sure to link them in the description. They'll be all over the screen. So, floor is yours.
All platforms, just NARCOLEPSYBOY94. Just, if you want to check me out, you like wrestling content, you check me out on all platforms there, man. Every platform is NARCOLEPSYBOY94.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but due to the video being corrupted, there's a good portion of this at the end, not long, like 3-4 minutes, that was not included, basically just us talking, recapping the video. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this regardless of the issues that came up. We've filmed a podcast since, and thankfully there are no issues over there, but I couldn't stop the issues with this video, unfortunately. And I still hope you guys enjoyed this video. We talked about some great things. If you want to see Narcolepsy Boy on the channel again, let me know down below in the comments. He's a pretty cool dude. We keep in contact, so if you guys want to see him again, I will definitely do my best to get him back on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know who you want to see in a future podcast episode of the Aidan Achong Experience. Next episode, if you're still watching, will be with the Wrestling Fanatic. I know, super exciting. That should come out later this week, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, subscribe down below, leave a like, comment as well. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm Aidan Achong, and I'll see you later.